guys, it's Erica. Welcome back to Maniacal Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my October TBR. Now, there are only a few books that I want to read this month, and the rest of the books will be tentative. The first book that I definitely will be reading this month is Insurgent by Veronica Roth. This is the second book in her Divergent trilogy. Anyone has either heard of this trilogy or watched the movies, so they have an idea of what this trilogy is about, so I won't go into it. But I'm currently reading Insurgent. I started it at the end of September, but then the goal captivated my attention, so I put this book down. This month I'm eager to finish this book. The Divergent trilogy is so captivating and exhilarating. I can't wait to finish it and see what happens next. Naturally, I'm going to be reading Allegiant next, the third and final book in the Divergent trilogy. I've heard really mixed things about this trilogy. This is the final book that people say makes or breaks their liking of the trilogy, and I'm curious to see how this trilogy ends. Divergent definitely captivated me, and Insurgent is even captivating me more. So we'll have to see if I'm disappointed by the end of this trilogy or if I end up liking this third book. The next book I'm definitely planning on reading is The Vincent Boys by Abby Glines. This is the first book in a new adult romance duology. I'm relatively new to new adult, but I heard about Abby Glines from a couple of the booktubers I watch. I'll leave their channels down below. This book follows a girl named Ashton, who's tired of being the good girl and living up to the expectations of her parents and the town's Prince Charming, Vincent Sawyer. Beau is nothing like her perfect boyfriend. Beau is the sexiest guy Ashton has ever seen. He's dangerous in ways that Ashton has only dreamed about. Beau has never envied Sawyer's loving parents or his position as quarterback. He loves Sawyer like a brother. But when Sawyer goes away for the summer, he finds it hard to stay away from Ashton. But Ashton is Sawyer's girl, and off limits. Beau has loved Ashton forever. That's why he's reluctant to rekindle their friendship. But his feelings for Ashton grow, and their friendship turns into something more. I'm not sure if her characters or her plot have emotional depth to them, but I know that Abby Glines is a good writer, and her books are just fun and fast to read, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I've also picked up the sequel, The Vincent Brothers. Those are all of the books that I definitely will be reading this October, but I did want to include other books that I may get to. The first one is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This is the first book in a sci-fi dystopian trilogy. I actually read this book at the beginning of the year in February, and I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I want to reread this book because I never ended up reading the last book in this trilogy, The Last Star, which came out just this past May. Since then, I've always wanted to know what happens during the final book in this trilogy. Next up, I have The Infinite Sea. This is the second book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. When I read this book back in February, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. In my opinion, this book was just filler and not really filled with anything exciting that adds to the trilogy, but I'm curious to see how I feel about this book the second time around, if I do end up reading it this month. If I do end up picking this trilogy, I'm obviously going to read The Last Star. This book was released at the end of May a few months ago, and I've heard there's mixed reviews about this final book. Some people like it as a conclusion to this trilogy, and others were disappointed by the conclusion to this trilogy. The next book I may get to is 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker. This is the first book in a new adult romance series. Since I'm into new adult lately, I decided to pick up this book. It's about this girl named Casey, whose parents, boyfriend, and best friend were all killed in a tragic car accident by a drunk driver. Casey is determined to leave her past behind, so she and her younger sister leave Grand Rapids, Michigan to start a new life in Miami. Casey's confident that she could leave her past behind, and she's made some new friends in town, so she's not worried. Nothing bothers her except her new neighbor in apartment 1D. Trent Emerson is a guy that skates the line between good guy and bad boy, and he gets on Casey's nerves. But their attraction is undeniable. Everything seems to be going fine until Trent reveals that he has a secret, and this secret could shatter both of their worlds. The premise of this book does sound interesting, but it doesn't sound different from a lot of other new adult premises I've heard about. And the last book I may or may not get to is Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. This is a YA science fiction fantasy trilogy, and Under the Never Sky is the first book. I've mentioned this trilogy in a couple of my other videos. This is one of the trilogies that are on my 2016 reading goals list, so I may or may not get to it. The thing is, I've been in a science fiction dystopian mood lately, but I've also been in a new adult romance mood ever since I started watching Carol from The Reading Flower. I'll put a link to her channel down below. On one hand, science fiction is all about action and a thrilling plot and characters, which I'm totally enthralled with since I'm reading the Divergent trilogy right now. But I also recently read The Goal, and that reignited my excitement for reading new adult romance, and new adult romance tends to leave me with all warm and fuzzy inside, so we'll just have to see where my mood falls this month. Let me know down below what you plan on reading this month. That's all for my video today. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!